Joe here with S3 Archery, and I wanted to come to you today and talk about something that scares a lot of us who have our bows finely tuned and working great, and that's sooner or later your string is going to wear out and you need to replace your string. So here I've got my Bear Kodiak, and it actually has its original string on it, and I did the math and I have over 60,000 shots on this string. Now I have obviously waxed this string all the time, but at some point it just is necessary to replace that string and put on something new. And with it being November 7th today, kind of heading into the brand new year, I want to get a brand new string on this thing and make sure that there's no risk of it kind of snapping on me, or just making sure that it's at optimal performance going into 2016. So I wanted to just film my process here today and walk you through what you're going to need in order to replace your string, and make this really a non-event and not something that when you replace your string you need to worry about needing to spend months and months again finding how to fine-tune that new string. So what are we going to need today? Well, you're going to need your bow, obviously. You're going to need your bow square. You're going to need, obviously, your new string, and you'll obviously need your stringer. And if you want to fine-tune, we've got just our bare shaft here of the arrow that you're going to use with the bow. So for most of us here, you're not going to change your arrows when you change your bow, so it should just be the normal bare shaft. So if you want to make sure that your current setup is perfect, go ahead and test it with the bare shaft. Make sure what you think is correct is actually correct, but this will be kind of like the final fine-tuning to make sure we did everything correct. So when we get started, let's kind of get a baseline for ourselves. So we're going to use our bow square, and we're just going to take a few measurements to make sure that we know what we're trying to even achieve with the new string. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to check our brace height. That's the length between the farthest point in the grip to the string. So we're going to check this brace height, and it comes in at 7 3/4. So that's exactly the way that I thought it should be. This is a very old string, like I said, so there should be very little string stretch. So 7 3/4 is what I wanted it, and that's what it is. And then the nock point should be a 1/4 inch from what I understand. So nock point is where obviously the upper nock point. So we're going to put the bow square in there, attach to the string, both sides, get it above the feather rest technically, and we're going to drop down the bow square to where the arrow would be resting. And right now it's 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16. So it's exactly at a 1/4 inch with 7 3/4 inch brace height. So those are our measurements that we're really trying to go for with the new string. And if we can reach those numbers, there's really not much of a reason that there would be anything off. So the only other variable that we need to think about after we get everything set up will be the string stretch. Being a brand new string, probably for the first 100 shots, 200 shots, your string's actually going to stretch a little bit. It's going to make your brace head a little shorter, and it's going to change your nock point. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. So now that we know our measurements, all we're going to do is we're going to unstring our bow, and we are going to prepare to put on the new one. So put the stringer on. Always recommend using a stringer. Go ahead, throw that out in there. Step on it, basically waist length apart. Get the thing out as far, get the stringer out as far to the limb tip as possible. Go ahead, lift it up, unstring your bow. Go ahead, remove the stringer. Just gonna put that right there for now. And then we'll just take off the string actually. So, old string, don't need it anymore, so we'll just put it aside. Let's open up our brand new string. What we're throwing on here on the Kodiak is we're going to throw on some D97 fast flight strings, D97 strings. And what I like to do, and we'll talk about this a little bit later as well, but the serving on the string, I like to keep it white, basically. White and black maybe, but a lot of white on it as well, because that'll, if you can see that, with the serving. So the string itself is brown and white. I wanted that to match the overlays of the Kodiak. but then the serving itself is black and white, and that'll make it easier for me to find that, fine-tune that nocking point later in this process. So we're going to find the side that has the bigger loop, and that'll be the top. So here's an extremely small loop. Hopefully that even fits the Kodiak, and then this is the bigger, so that'll go on the top. So grab it, take the big loop, put it on top of the bow, slide it as far down as we can. Hopefully that's going to fit. And you're seeing this live, so just going to throw this on here. Come on, baby. And it is going to fit. Very good. Okay, so that's on there. Got the string pretty much teed up. String the bow up. See where we're at here. So the first thing that we're focusing on right now is the brace height. So there's no point in talking about nock points or anything like that with the new string until we know our brace height is correct. Because as that brace height changes, it's changing the nock points and everything. So we're going to string the bow. There's the new string on it. I can remove the stringer from the one side just so it's easier to see on film. So now we're going to check our brace height right away. So we're looking for 7 3/4, and we are at 8.5 right now. So we were a bit high. So right away, now that's why we didn't even remove the stringer from the bottom. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to unstring the bow again, and we're going to actually unwind the string a little bit and try to get that brace height a bit smaller. So we take that off, and we're going to unstring it. We'll just kind of start maybe with 10 to 15 twists and just see what kind of result we get. Move that again, see if we can't get it down. Okay, move the top again so you can see. Grab the bow square. We are down to about just under 8. So I think that's about perfect because, like I said, we're going to have some string stretch here to start shooting. So I'm going to stop at about 8 inches on the dot. We're just maybe a 1/16 of an inch less than that, and call that good enough for right now. So that's obviously not the end point that we want. It's not the end game, but it will become the end game after just a few shots. So we've got the string. Check the ends to make sure it's on there. Pretty good. You can hear that string stretching actually. That's kind of crazy. And then I'll break in. So we've got that, and it might even stretch right there just from doing those initial pulls. Not much there, but we got it. So we've got that. Next thing we do now is let's just get like a preliminary nocking point. So I'm going to throw this bow square on there like we did the first time. 1/4 inch is what we're looking for. There it is on there. Slide it down to where the arrow is going to be. Right about there. And now in my pocket, I've got a Sharpie, permanent marker. Take this out. I'm going to take that 1/4 inch nocking point and I'm going to mark it on this white and black serving so it's easy for me to find. I'm going to make it pretty big so I can find it. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's right there, and I'm going to mark all the way up this serving so it's really obvious where I'm supposed to go. And the reason I'm not throwing a nocking point on it right now is because that string is going to start stretching and there's no point. That knock point's going to start moving when the string stretches. So I'd rather just do it with a Sharpie at first, mark it up all black at a 1/4 inch. And there we go. So we've got that marked so I know where the 1/4 inch is. Take my bow square off, and now all I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot quite a few shots real quick with this. Stretch this string out so majority of the stretch is out, and then I can go ahead and throw a nocking point on it. So let's set the block up and just take probably 10 shots, and we'll see how much this string moves, and we'll also shoot with the bare shaft so we can see how close that 1/4 inch is working with the new arrow. Alright, so I've got the block set up. We don't need to get too far away. We're not really nock tuning right now 100%, but I'm just going to throw this arrow on there where that 1/4 inch is. Make sure that the nock point's really close. But this is pretty much all about stretching the string out. So got my tab out, and I'm just going to take a few shots, and hopefully I'm in frame, but I'm just going to try to get 10 shots as quick as I can and get this string stretched out a bit. So here we go. All right, let me set the camera back up in our normal spot, and then we'll kind of check our numbers again. All right, so we put the new string on. We basically got a kind of a pretty crude measurement of the 1/4 inch nocking point that we wanted, just so we could take a few shots and have it be semi-decent, not snap our bear shaft. And then we've been just focusing on our brace height. You know, I don't know how many shots I just took. Maybe I took 10, 15 shots with the new string. So now all we're going to do is we're going to take our bow square again. We're going to see the movement that we had. We set up the string actually just a little bit bigger brace height than we wanted because we knew it was going to stretch. So now we'll just see the movement that we had even in just these 10 or 15 shots. So I'm going to take the bow, put the bow square in the deepest part of the grip, look at the brace height now, and we want that bow square to be as level as possible. And now we are at 7 3/4 inches brace height. So, I mean, you may find that amazing. This is a D97 low stretch, no stretch string is maybe how they market it even. But we just had just shy of a 1/4 inch of movement in just under 15 shots probably. So, and now that's going to be the majority of the stretch. It's basically at 7 3/4. It's just a tidge, maybe like a 32nd of an inch above that. But that's only 15 shots, and we're going to get that final little bit of stretch in the next 200, 300 shots. So we don't want to get quite all the way there, but we're ready to go with that nock point. So once again, I'm going to just verify this nocking point is at a 1/4 inch, and then we can do a fine tune of our bear shaft tune, throw our brass nock on there, call it a day. It's like the bow never changed strings in the first place. So put the bow square down, see where we're at. We are at basically just over now a 1/4 inch is where that black line is, so I'm going to go just under it, and we'll just kind of fine tune the nocking point now with the bear shaft. And once we find the spot on the black mark where it's getting a nice consistent bear shaft height, nocking point height, I think we can throw the brass nock on it, call it a day. Alright, so we got our string stretched out, we got the brace height right, string stretched out, we got a kind of vague nocking point, and now we're just going to fine tune it with the bear shaft here. There really shouldn't be a lot of adjustment going on, it's just the final touches. So you take a few shots, find that point where that bear shaft's going into the target, basically perfectly in line with your hand on the bow and the target. So it's going to be slightly high, unless you've got your target really high, then it would be parallel. But as long as the target's just a little bit below you, it'll be slightly high. And then once you find that point, go ahead, throw your brass nock on it, call it a day. So let's do it real quick, and I'll just stop the video once I find that exact point, but give this a try. I think it shouldn't take you more than just 15-20 minutes to change out your entire string, and you'll find basically zero change in your performance going from string to string. Really shouldn't be much drama. So let's conclude it with this final bear shaft tuning, and otherwise, until next time, shoot straight and have fun out there, guys. Bring it down just a little bit. Pretty good. Try one more, make sure it's the same. I think this will be it. Boom. That's it, guys. Give it a shot out there.